How are you guys? This is Chris Barron for what is it? The 13th of September 2020. Let's have some fun. Today we're gonna award another $20, the incredible sum of $20 for the last contest that I hosted on Discord. This is for the YouTube thumbnail for one of my podcasts. So we have quite a few entries here. I think I have about 26 in total. I hope I didn't. Miss anything because some of you guys have sent me loads of archives. You forgot some of the entries. You sent them again and whatnot. So it was a bit difficult to actually get this set up in a proper time. Having said that, this should be pretty fun. So again, we're gonna award that winner. This is a bit trickier than usual because the entries are fairly similar, I would say. Well, actually, not really similar, but hard to actually pick a winner just from the looks of it. Then we're also gonna do some reviews here for some web design pages submitted on Discord in the review channel. So this should be fairly fun. Strap yourselves in. I just came from the gym. I did loads of kilometers, 4 kilometers, and then a brutal leg workout. 4 kilometers actually isn't all that much, but I planned on doing loads of squats and loads of things for my legs, and they're completely fried. But you have to take care of yourself if you want to be a great freelancer or if you want to be a great designer in general. So, having said that, let's jump straight into it and let's analyze what this is all about. These two are immediately eliminated just because of the repeat grid featured in Adobe XD. You can see they're number 1 and 2, so this is why these two are they already have an X. Now, let's see what's what. So the whole point was if you should follow the brief. This is again for a YouTube thumbnail, and that is really important, right? It's really important for one particular reason, because in general, we want nice and balanced designs. We want designs that are, with a bit of refinement, right? And I strongly agree that should be your approach throughout throughout your career. But on YouTube is something completely different. YouTube is basically whoever whoever shouts the loudest. That's basically it, right? So in general, you shouldn't use stroke on text layers, right? On YouTube, that's totally fine. In general, you shouldn't use neon colors. So neon pink, neon green, neon yellow. In general, you should stay away from that. On YouTube, it's perfectly fine. You shouldn't use incredibly striking contrast. Again, just imagine hot pink on hot blue, for example, right? In general, you shouldn't do that. That's why I opened this up by saying, in general, you should have a balanced approach. But on YouTube, that doesn't matter, right? So basically, your design refinement on YouTube is not at all important. What matters is how you get clicks, and you get clicks by being shocking, by drawing the user's attention. So here, more than anything else, it's really important that you use mockups. And some of you guys have actually sent in some mockups. I'm not gonna go through all of them because, again, people have sent me loads of files and archives and whatnot. But again, I really feel like this is the best place to use mockups. You write something like this, client brief, podcast, or whatever. This isn't actually a great search term, but whatever. And then you insert your design here and you see if it makes sense. For example, this one right here. Does this stand out versus these other 4? And I say yes. So that's a job well done, right? Again, here on a different layout. This is the desktop version. Does it stand out? Well, in this specific case, I would say no. I would say this is better. I think this one from the future is actually a much better thumbnail. So this should be your approach. Make sure it's shouty as hell. Make sure it's in your face, totally blown up, incredibly, all caps and all that. Again, huge strokes and all that. Because again, this is the game on YouTube. Now, obviously, we've just seen, a pretty balanced design here. This one right here from the future. Obviously, you could go for this approach as well. But in general, if it's a fairly competitive environment, you should go for the all-out attention-grabbing designs. Yeah, I'm sorry, I can't do anything regarding the voice quality because the Discord server doesn't have any boosts. So because of that, unfortunately, we're not gonna have great audio. So let's jump straight into it. Let's see what's what. We're gonna have our trusty X symbol and we're gonna slowly eliminate them. Now let's see what's what. First of all, these three are all the same. So 14, 17, and 18th, they're basically the same. I honestly don't see anything that's different. Anything at all. So is this a test? Is this actually the same design that's been submitted 3 times? Okay, let's just eliminate it just for the sheer fact that unfortunately this is not the right way to go. Again, make my life easier, guys. Treat me as a client, right? So clients don't really want to, find Waldo, find the differences, 3 differences in this image. Can you figure it out? This is not Facebook, right? So please make sure that when you send 2 different versions that they are seriously different. Now, again, this one is it's exactly what I was saying just 20 seconds ago. So the difference between these two is just this background. And this, from what I recall, this is one single email, right? So again, the designer basically said, hey, you know what, Chris? I'm not sure between this minute detail being black or white. You figure it out. I just can't decide. I'm a designer, but I can't decide on this very tiny, small little thing. It's so disappointing, when you fill up a slot here, basically you're wasting your shot, you're wasting an opportunity, you're making me mad, me specifically Chris, but you're also wasting my time as a contest holder. Because again, the whole idea, guys, is to make sure that you treat this competition exactly like a proper contest, exactly like a proper one-on-one relationship with you and the client. Clients don't want these types of things, these small little 5% things that make no difference at all. Because again, it's just, look at this. This is just one different rectangle. So is this gonna change the entire thing? Obviously not. What you should have done was change up the typeface, use a different font, use a different gradient here, use a different illustration, and then you would have had twice the chances, right? And then again, the idea was at least I would have liked some parts of it, Maybe I didn't like the gradient, but I liked your typeface, or vice versa, or whatever, right? But right now, what you're doing is you're just pissing me off. Because again, the difference between these two is what? Again, 5%. So please don't waste my time with it, and for that reason, you're eliminated. Yellow. Now, I'm gonna eliminate this one, even though it may work. It may work. I mean, it should have been actually step 3 probably, or just no design and YOLO. Just read the brief and then YOLO. So I understand what this is saying, and this may work for whatever, 14-year-olds, 16-year-olds. So again, this may work. This is in tune with the current jungle that is YouTube. Because again, mostly on YouTube, you'll find basically young boys, teenagers and whatnot. So again, this approach with YOLO, again, it's exactly what I was saying at the beginning. In general, you shouldn't create such a thumbnail, right? This would be ridiculous in any other context. But because this is YouTube, this may work actually pretty good. You know what? I'm not gonna eliminate it. I don't think I'm gonna eliminate it. Let's keep it going. This one I am gonna eliminate just because the font looks like Arial and it's not a good fit. I really appreciate the fact that most of you guys have seen that, this type of font treatment is actually great. So Oswald, Bebas, again, basically very shouty fonts work well. And again, in general, if you would use this type of contrast, this type of color scheme in a web design project, I would probably ban you from my Discord chat, right? I would probably kick you. But because this is YouTube, again, this is why this is so fascinating, because YouTube is this separate animal that has to be treated differently, exactly like TikTok, for example. So you really have to make sure that you design based on your medium. And again, I commend everyone, I congratulate every one of you guys that actually figured that out, that you can be this shouty without this being a problem. This is way too muted, and unfortunately the stroke is not big enough. Not only is it not big enough, but the text is actually quite small. And when you do want to include text in your YouTube thumbnails, you have to make sure it really stands out. These are way too many words. This is not correctly formatted. The size is not correct. The Photoshop icon is outdated. So for that, it's gonna be eliminated. Now, let's keep on going. Let's see, what else can we eliminate? Okay, these are fairly similar. I would say that this background doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Let me just eliminate that. This is way too boring. This is fairly boring as well. This doesn't stand out in the slightest bit, unfortunately. I do appreciate this treatment. So I do appreciate you guys actually, taking the time to put the number of the podcast. I think that's a good idea. But this is way too muted. Even in this field right here, this doesn't stand out, right? It feels like it's missing color. It feels like it's just muted and washed away. Nothing really all that special. On the other hand, this is way too much. So again, yeah, I did say you can go all out with your colors, but this is just painful, right? I mean, it's really difficult, red on this hot green, difficult. And again, I understand these sliders, but when you zoom out, because basically that's how you actually see thumbnails on YouTube, I don't think this is a good execution, a good design. I don't think this other one works well either. This looks dated. This would be fine in 2005, but not in 2020, nearly 2021. So this isn't all that great. Here I hate bevels, but again, we're gonna keep this one. This is a pretty interesting one. This is actually pretty nice, This is pretty nice. The problem is that's not me, right? And because basically this is all about me, about my brand, if you want to call it that way, it's not a great idea to include this guy right here in the suit, this guy right here, or this guy right here. It's not a good look. I've actually made this mistake myself in the past. And it's quite unfortunate because this actually looks quite nice. It seems fairly well executed. I'm not in love with these specific colors, but this treatment I think is pretty good. But yeah, because you're showing off somebody that's not me, I don't think this is the right way to go. Now, if you want pictures of myself, that's gonna cost you extra. So let's just eliminate all these that have photos. And again, in general, you should avoid the guy wearing a suit. The guy wearing a suit has been around for ages, from the start of web design, and everybody's fed up. Nobody likes guys in suits regarding stock photos. Literally, if there's one thing I really want to say to all designers in the world, don't use stock photos with people in suits, because they look cheesy, they look very outdated, they look untrustworthy, you look lazy, you look out of touch as a designer. So in general, please don't use guys in suits. It's not a good look. Now, we only have a handful here. Let's take them one at a time. This guy is using my color code, so that's pretty smart. That's pretty good. Unfortunately, design brief is a bit too small here. The font is basically Arial, so that's not all that great. We do see podcast here, but the number is not shown. Nope, let's just eliminate that. Stop following the brief. Now, again, this may work, but the concept itself is pretty good. But unfortunately, I don't think this is well executed. So the stop sign is pretty good. Following is way too small. The brief is actually very much in tune with the stop sign. But unfortunately, the basic background just doesn't cut it. It looks lackluster. And this design right here doesn't really stand out. The colors are probably what bothered me the most. So again, this, whatever you want to call it, navy blue right here, obviously he chose it because these really pop. But unfortunately, this part right here with the teal and orange and various colors right here, probably if he would have used a different design here, maybe something with red, probably this would have been a much better thumbnail. As it stands, I'm not in love with it. Let's keep on going. This one is way too boring, unfortunately. Never make this 40 pixels and this 36 pixels. I'm fairly certain the difference between these two is very, very small. What you want to do is make sure this is 40 or whatever, and this is 26, or at the most 30. So basically, make sure it's either identical if it looks similar, or it's completely different. So again, this is 40, this is 20, this is perfectly fine. You can see there's a difference between them, right? But if this is 40 and this is 36, it just looks like a mistake, right? So don't do that. If they look similar, then make them 100% similar. If you want to make them different, then obviously make them different enough. Now, let's see what else. Now, this is the tricky part. I think out of these ones, so the first, the second, the seventh, and the eighth, they have pretty strong colors. This is fairly basic. Let's see. I would say that these two should be eliminated, and it should be based on these ones. So these ones at the top, I think these grab your attention the most. Now, this is a bit clickbaity. This is a bit penis enlargement and Viagra and whatever. So because of that, I think I'm just gonna eliminate it. Again, this style is basically used for scammy websites. And even though it does indeed grab your attention, it doesn't do it in the right way, right? Because again, most websites that use that text treatment are scummy. They're spammy, they're in the gray area. So because of that, I don't want to be associated with that type of style. Plus, we're a designer, right? So this is a designer podcast. So just, it would be quite a shame to use something like this, right? Now, let's see what else. 1 and 2, pretty good. I especially like 1 because of the puppet thing. So the puppet motif, because again, any designer that's ever worked with a client knows exactly what this is all about, the puppet feeling, Hey, Chris, do this, do that. Move this slightly here, slightly there. Just a bit. Okay, a bit more. No, too much. Go back. Okay, more greener. More green. No, less green. Not that green. Go with teal. No, go with blue. Okay, go. So that's basically the type of thing that most designers experience at least once in their lifetime. And it would be nice if it were only a single experience, but unfortunately, you may have 6 months, 12 months of that. Just someone just constantly nudging you. And that's something you should avoid at all costs. Basically, you shouldn't screen share with your client. That's something that's really... Otherwise said, you can screen share with your client, but you shouldn't make edits on the spot. So if he says, okay, Chris, I'm not feeling the typography, you shouldn't be, oh, let me just fix it real quick. Boom, 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 just like that. And then he says, okay, you're willing to work on the spot. Let's make this a 4-hour call. Let's make this a 4-hour screen sharing event. And then after 4 hours, the client is going to say, I'm not sure, Chris. Something just doesn't pop. It doesn't click. It just doesn't stand out. And you're sitting there, right? You're sitting there and you're thinking, what doesn't pop? What doesn't click? What the hell? This is a design. How should it pop? What does that even mean? So again, don't screen share, right? Going back to it. I think, let's have a vote. So 1, 2, 3, 7, and 8. Let's go for chat. 1, 2, 3, 7, and 8. 1, 2, 3, 7, and 8. Please vote, guys, and let me know what you think. Please go in the general channel and upvote. You know how to upvote, right? Just go and use this reaction button and use the thumbs up. And let's see what's what. Really difficult. Really difficult. Right now, I think I really love this one. So I'm a big fan of this one. I like the fact that the girl has a red sweater and this part right here at the top is red as well. I like the fact that these things are red as well. So this designer really put some thought into it. So this is pretty good, but unfortunately it doesn't really stand out, right? You can see that the girl is a stock photo. Unfortunately, her expression, because the girl is quite small, you don't really see it. So if this specific designer would have made the girl probably 2 times as large, 2 times as big, it would have been a much better design. But as it stands, I don't think that this is the right way to go. Um, Plus, I would say that it just doesn't grab your attention as the other ones. Now, this does speak to those designers who have used 99 Designs and Design Crowd and whatever, but for the rest, not really. So because of that, I think I'm gonna eliminate that. Let's see. So number 3, people are actually, yeah, they're not in love with it. Number 4, number 4? No, sorry, number 8. No, number 7 is the most voted one. Okay, let's see what's what. Should you follow it? Okay, the question mark here, I don't think the question mark is actually tied into this one. I quite like the illustration, and it's a pretty good one. This is really difficult actually. I would actually go with number 1. Probably number 1 or probably number 7. So number 7 has a few things going for it. The colors are pretty good. It's a bit too colored for my taste. The design brief actually looks pretty good. I like the stacks of paper. I think that works fairly well. The question mark, it being slanted again, I think that's pretty playful. That's pretty good. Let's do this. Let's eliminate number 8 because I don't think it's the right way to go. So 1, 2, or 7. 1, 2, or 7. So between 2 and 7, it seems like it's a tie. Indeed, the girl is not me, but overall, you know, from this bunch, I think it is what it is. So people are leaning towards number 2. Again, very difficult. I strongly believe that number 2 is a good representation of myself. So for the design channel, I think these two work better. 1 and 2, they would represent myself in a better light. This one is a bit too colorful for my taste. I think, you know, if you would have dropped 1 color, I think it would have been better. What if you would have chosen a better yellow, something, you know, in the region of gold yellow? This is a bit too too faded for my taste. And again, a brief, because you didn't make them the same color, these seem like a different thing. I understand what you wanted to do. You wanted brief to stand out, but no, I think I'm actually gonna eliminate this one as well. And it's just between these two. So 1 and 2, come on guys, help me out. 1 or 2, what do you think? It's a bit tricky. The question mark in number 1 is a bit difficult to understand, and it seems slightly distorted. Again, number 2 is pretty good, but I like the overall concept of the puppet from number 1 a bit better. Difficult. Again, I appreciate this type of challenge because, again, this type of contest, this is exactly what goes on in your client's mind. Because, again, sometimes it's a clear-cut decision, sometimes it's a really difficult one. So between these two, I would say this is a coin flip. Let's go with number 2. Number 2, you're the winner. Congratulations. You won this week's design competition. Who's number 2? Let me see. Right in the general channel. Who is number 2? Please shout. I hope that you're here. It would be a shame if you're not here. You did a good job. I would not use this hyphen here. I don't think it's a good fit. Oh, it's actually my premium student, Manisha. Okay, this is actually one of my students, which is obviously a fix, right? So she gave me some money, and now I'm giving back her money, and it's basically, yeah. So we're basically hand in hand, right? So she gave me a certain amount of money, and now I'm just paying it back in slow increments, right? Every week. Congratulations, Manisha. You actually did a great job, and the fact that you actually created both of these, really, I'm really happy about it. Again, I know it looks shady as hell because it's my premium student that actually won, but I'm really happy for you. Again, you really make me proud. You're one of my best premium students because you're really active. You really take my feedback into consideration, and you really implement it in your designs. And I really appreciate that type of student that messes up, makes mistakes, but then gets better. Now let's continue with some web design reviews. Let's go with this one for starters because I already reviewed this one, but it's a good way to get started. So, just a glass of water. So what I would do here in the header in this specific situation, I would insert some social media icons here. Another thing that I would really do, and I like to do this quite a lot, is I like to insert a 3 pixel basically line that's orange or red or whatever it is. I don't think you're actually seeing it through, so let's go with something like that. Obviously not as big, but something like that. Maybe let's go with 5. So something like that would work pretty well. And some social media icons probably around here. I would probably center them. It really depends if you have 2, 3, 4, or 5, or however you want. But I would add social media icons here. I would add circular ones. Get your favorite food at your doorstep. Food should not be highlighted. The fact that this icon is not centered with food actually bothers me. So I'm not really sure if that's just me, but it does bother me. I appreciate the 2 calls to action, but I would actually move this on this side right here. You don't really need to enlarge the hero area. The hero area has to be as short as possible. And basically you have to make sure it's as short as possible because you want people to actually come here. So let's have a quick look. So before you can actually see a product, it's 1100 pixels. So because of that, this isn't well executed. Again, this part right here does nothing for you. This part right here does nothing for you. Is the image interesting? Sure, yeah, but overall, it's not a good look. Another thing, order now unfortunately doesn't stand out. It doesn't stand out enough. I would make it a bit larger, and that would be a bit better. Now, this headline again isn't all that great. I don't think it really helps. Grab your first order and get 20% off. Okay, I would not use this as a sub headline, but it is what it is. The search feature, again, pretty good, but poorly executed. It doesn't stand out, unfortunately, this gray on gray action. The differences between them is just not enough. So what I would do is I would probably insert a stroke, a 2-pixel stroke, but unfortunately you already did that here. And this type of design is fairly outdated. You shouldn't use this type of menu in this type of fashion. It's just not a good look. You should just use what I use on thislooksgreat.net, I think. And that's a bullet symbol. So this type of thing works best. So just a bullet symbol, and that's that. This part, you actually listen to my feedback. This is shorter than it used to be. This was way larger in the past. The dishes are great. You listen to my feedback and you chose these circular ones. Pretty good, but unfortunately, again, it's not tight enough. It's not tight enough. And, I'm really happy that, again, I can share this information with you guys. So on Overs, on my website, you can see everything right here. You can see that the hero area, let me actually empty the cart. You can see that everything is fairly compact. And because it's compact, this allows people to see as many products as possible. And the great thing is my conversion rate is between 1.7 and 3.2. Now, if you don't know, that's a fantastic conversion rate. It's not fantastic, it's good towards great. So the median in e-commerce is 2%. So out of 100 people that visit your site, 2 people make a purchase, then you're good to go. Then that website is great. So this specific one is pretty well sorted, my specific website. This one, not all that much. And because these are actually not as tight, this isn't going to perform all that well. There's another thing. You have add to cart, but starting from. So this means this is a category, right? So if this is a category, you can't really order now, nor can you add to cart, right? On my specific website, this is a specific product that you can add to the cart, and this is see details, right? You have order now, so this doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Right here, this is pretty good. Pretty good. This is oversized. This should be way smaller. The stroke here should be, again, thinner by 2 pixels, I believe. This is, again, pretty nice, though I would not use the same plate on the left and right side. I would not leave this empty space right here. I'm not sure why this is so common. This mistake is so common. And this photo, yeah, you actually did a pretty good job here. You actually improved it quite a lot. I don't like the fact that it's gray. I would love to see a different color. I would love to see more space right here between these two areas. But overall, yeah, this is pretty good. This is decent. Let's move on. Just a few more minutes, guys. We're already at 30 minutes. Hang in there. Find our stores, login, sign up, pretty good. The color scheme is quite dreary, it's quite old. Nobody actually uses this type of menu anymore. This is fairly dated. Only very large stores actually use this type of drop down, and the way they use it is actually the following way. So you can see it's integrated in the main menu. This right here doesn't do that, so because of that, this just looks odd. It doesn't stand out either because again, the age-old problem when you sample the color from the logo and you implement it everywhere. Quite a shame. This isn't actually a hero area, so this is product page. Oh, okay. So this isn't a home page. Okay, then this makes a bit more sense. I'm not sure what this empty space right here is. This doesn't make any sense. I'm not sure why this is larger than this one. So again, quite disappointing, unfortunately. Let's see what else. Related products, but there's way too much space here. The images are way too different. So this is landscape. This is a bit medium, an aspect ratio of 1:1. This is very tall. So this is probably the worst thing that you could do. This is the worst thing that you could do. You know, why not choose images that have the same aspect ratio? Quite disappointing. And again, you're just shooting yourself in the foot. The tablet is a very outdated thing. You shouldn't include that anymore. Just put it in a rectangle and that's it. Never include reflections. This is so 2005, so it's not a good look. Overall, this is a fairly 4 out of 10, I would say. 4 out of 10, and this is probably a 5.5 out of 10. So modest websites. Finally, this one last one, let's have a quick look. Let me actually go into full screen mode. Okay, so the color scheme is absolutely terrible. I'm not sure what this is right here, why there's a 1 pixel orange line on the right side. That's quite unfortunate. I think this is a typo. I'm fairly confident this is a typo. Again, the same thing, sample the logo and use it everywhere. That's a clear-cut mistake. Please stop sampling the logo. The main menu should have been white. This divider should have been white with a low opacity. Contact us, okay, pretty good. Okay. This one right here, this doesn't make any sense. Stop leaving gaps. Stop using image after image. This is not a good look. You should use some white space, some negative space, some breathing room, right? This text is way too big. Contact us is way too close together. This doesn't make any sense. About us is totally general. These should be unique selling points, USPs. This is just some general information. All capabilities, the text is way too big, unfortunately. These should be smaller as well. This is a mess, just a mess. The drop shadow here as well, you shouldn't use it. The color scheme yet again, based on this gray. You have a person here that has his head cut off. Unfortunately, this is a mess. This is just a soup of things that you brought together and it doesn't really make all that much sense. Guys, let me know if you have any questions in the general channel. I've spoken non-stop for 33 minutes, but let me know if you have any questions in the general channel. We're gonna continue our weekly contest thing. We're gonna do a few more contests. We're gonna see what's what. I really appreciated the YouTube contest thing because it was something really different. I'm not sure about what should be the next contest. If you have any suggestions, just let me know in the general channel. And overall, yeah, things have been going great. I'm not working on any course right now. I'm still just enjoying myself after having the Adobe XD course. I think I launched it about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I'm still really happy. I'm still riding that high. I'm still really happy about that. So as of now, I'm just taking a breather. I'm working on loads of statistics for my company, for my oatmeal company. I'm actually doing a presentation in Adobe XD just because it's a bit faster. All sorts of statistics, my timeline, all sorts of things regarding things about that business. So again, things have been going fairly well. I'm not really happy with the amount of people that are active on Discord, but on the other hand, I do think I could have done a better job. I could get more involved in the day-to-day stuff that's going on here. I'm not really sure how I can make this a better place, but I'll see. I'll think about that, and yeah, I'll do my best to keep it going, because The most important thing is to keep going, to keep designing. If you keep designing, you're gonna get better. If you stop, even if it's for the week, even if it's for whatever, for a few days, it's not good. You have to constantly practice. So that's about it, guys. I'm gonna stop right here and I'm gonna go back to designing. I'm gonna see you on Wednesday. This is Chris Barron signing out. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you in a few days. Thank you.